Aesthetics and practicality are confusing concepts for a lot of people. Admittedly, they are fairly complex concepts on their own. Never mind when you run into situations where you have to balance the two. But Honest Apple showed us what can happen when we fail to take outside opinions into consideration. Artists like Rarity spend most of their time appealing to subjectivity. Art of all types is about self-expression, but subjectivity is a two-way street. Artists must make peace with the fact that factors you can't control, such as outside interference and the mindsets of those to whom you express yourself, will have unpredictable effects on each individual. Thus, you should never expect your message to be properly understood by everyone. Objectivity and practicality are often indiscernible from each other to people like Applejack. And typically, we use empirical methods of observation and experimentation to assess something's practicality. But like subjectivity, objectivity can be applied to all aspects of life. However, those of a practical mindset must realize that there are millions of uncontrollable and unpredictable external factors that can determine whether or not a tool or a method is practical, or even that we are accurately observing something's state of being. The lesson presented in Honest Apple primarily deals with what happens when someone is so extremely dedicated to their own beliefs that they either cannot or refuse to understand an outside perspective. Applejack went most of the episode without even trying to learn about what she was judging. As a result of Applejack refusing to look outside of her own perspective, she ruined the hard work of several people, one of which was among her own best friends, which could have had long-lasting consequences on Rarity's career. And while Applejack was able to learn the lesson and turn it around at the last moment, we rarely get these chances in real life. The concept is simple enough that I would have expected to see something like this from an episode in seasons 1 or 2. But we all know someone who does this exact same thing. Possibly even yourself. And that leads me to a much bigger point where I frankly believe that the episode fell flat. Honest Apple never addressed the fact that aesthetics and practicality require balance, which greatly broadens the applicability of the lesson beyond merely critiquing someone else's artwork. Earlier, when I was explaining the differences between aesthetics and practicality, or the broader concepts of subjectivity and objectivity, did you notice the common ground that they share? This being the myriad of outside factors that contribute to whether or not we are accurately understanding the messages that we deliver to each other all day, every day. Everyone is limited by their understanding of any given subject through their level and type of experiences on any given subject. These things come into consideration constantly throughout the day and color our judgment through how we understand literally everything, leaving you likely to confuse subjective and objective concepts for each other. It's at this stage where many people set themselves in their ways and cripple their ability to learn. Then, when you inevitably find yourself in a situation outside of your comfort zone, you won't be able to function. In fact, you'll be highly likely to make the situation worse for yourself and everyone else involved. Some people even do this on purpose to save their own egos. Subjectivity can affect objectivity, and objectivity can affect subjectivity. In art, the laws of aesthetics, color theory, and music are well documented. But in all forms of art, there are exceptions to these rules that highly skilled artists often utilize. There may be universal laws of aesthetics, but there is no shortage of clashing colors in art, or asymmetrical architecture that most people would describe as masterpieces. Or how the universal laws of music can be broken down into mathematical equations and ratios. But I'd be willing to bet that everyone listening has a song that they like that was written in a discordant or deceptive cadence. However, that doesn't mean that you can do whatever you want, or not seek to improve, and expect to create masterpieces. Creating beauty in spite of practicality is a level of art that is still founded on the basic artistic principles that must be mastered first. This concept can be scaled up further still to apply to life as a whole. Morality, for example, is universal and the foundation of a healthy life and a happy society. But leading morality by a strict black and white criteria causes unnecessary suffering for those who fall off that path or even into the gray areas for whatever reason, thus wasting life and potential for improvement. However, treating everything as subjective has yet to not bring down any society that practices moral relativity within a few generations of moral relativity's adoption. Without a solid foundation, quote-unquote morals can be changed on a whim to suit anyone's selfish desires and create a breeding ground for evil. The balance of subjectivity and objectivity applies to all aspects of existence. But maybe I'm just overanalyzing a whimsical cartoon aimed to teach basic life lessons to young children. I will keep an open mind and look forward to being proven wrong so that I can continue to better myself and hopefully help others in the future. And although it was on a much smaller scale, Applejack did learn that even if she didn't understand fashion, she could step outside of herself and understand the contestants' dedication, involve herself with the art, appreciate the common ground that they do share, and find beauty in their varied styles. If we all try to keep an open mind and seek to balance aesthetics and practicality, or subjectivity and objectivity, then maybe we can do the same. And that's the moral of the story. If you have any comments, critiques, or suggestions, you can send me a message by following Brawny Buck on Tumblr or sending an email to bronydebates@gmail.com. This video was supported by all of my generous supporters on Patreon. Please check out their content links in the description. You can also see how you can join them in supporting my channel and what you would get in return. Have a great day, and I look forward to hearing from all of you soon.